Hello everyone, this video is for anyone who is interested in drawing and anyone who wants to improve and get better. Today I'll share 6 tips to help you improve your art and things I wish that I knew when I first started. This isn't necessarily just about drawing, and I'm sure that this applies to anyone who wants to get better at any art medium. These are things that I've learned just from my experience with drawing. The first staple tip is to draw every day. I know that sketching every day might seem like a chore at first, but trust me, it is something that will help you out in the long run. When I first started out, I would always just draw a complete artwork every few weeks. I never sketched in my free time, and I felt frustrated because I wasn't improving. Get a sketchbook that you can keep with you. That way it'll be easier to pick out your progress and see where you need to improve with your art. In fact, I keep multiple sketchbooks with me because some of my art looks better on different paper. Experiment, find what's best for you. If you want to improve, make time to draw. If you want to improve drawing portraits, draw a new face every day, because the more you draw the same thing, the more your brain takes notes and gets used to it, and soon you may not even need a reference. Second tip is real life references. Reference from real life. I understand that some of us prefer learning other art styles, let's say like anime or caricature styles, etc. But to improve your drawing or art, it's beneficial to learn the fundamentals from real life first, since they will apply to any given art style that you pursue in the future or you would like to work on. It helps you improve your no-reference drawing and overall helps with proportions and imagination. But then again, I'm not saying that you go straight to no-reference sketching or drawing either. References are your friend. I say this because when you're drawing without a reference, your brain might think you know what you're drawing, but it may be put down differently than what it actually looks like in real life. You might not be drawing what it actually looks like. That way, when you use references, your brain gets used to it. That way, you're more accurate when you draw. They also help you train your brain and your eyes, creating a library of, proportions, let's say, and perspective. Photographs are good, but you can also use real life references. Take your hand, for example, draw your hand. It includes depth. That way you can see the more 3D shape that you can't get from a photograph. Obviously, you won't be able to see, let's say, an elephant in real life. That way, it would be better to use a photograph rather than something realistic. But try to use real-life references when you can. Tell your sister to sit down, tell your brother to sit down, and just draw something. My third tip is do not focus too much on details. When drawing, try not to focus too much on details. Not only will your drawing end up looking displeasing and messy to the eye, but it can also distort your proportions. Get the important shapes first, then you can work on more details. For example, you probably have seen a drawing or sketch that had minimum shading and details, but still looked much nicer compared to a drawing that had disproportionate shapes with shading and details. Before focusing on the details, I think it is very important to learn shapes and proportions first. My fourth tip is to critique and improve. Sometimes when you start a drawing, it may look far from what you expect it to look, but trust in the process. It's okay to drop some pieces, but it's an unhealthy habit to discontinue your drawings. Think about it, you're practically wasting your time, effort, and supplies when you don't finish it. And it's okay if it's not exactly perfect when you finish. Value it as a step to improve. Ask for constructive criticism and take note of what you like and dislike. Compare your art to other artists in a positive way and find inspiration. However, don't push yourself to finish an art piece. Take breaks. Your mental health is important too. If you continue drawing without breaks, your attention span decreases, you get tired and lazy, which just ruins the outcome of your art. Onto the fifth tip, learn the fundamentals of art. Anatomy. Now, when you draw every day, it's just as important to learn the fundamentals. Draw figures, practice the proportions of a human body, the skull, how different body types and muscles look on the male and female body, the body's composition in general. This will help you learn perspective, which will lead you to learning how to shade in the proper places. Study color, light, and depth too. All of these simple fundamentals to help bring your art to life. Typically in grade school, in art classes, they teach you these things, and I never really paid attention to it, but now I understand why they taught it. Personally, I'm still not the best at drawing full body pictures or portraits, but I'm putting in the effort into learning anatomy. The sixth and last tip is to break down your images. When drawing, I find it easier to break things down to shapes, but that may just be my preference. Finding shapes in images. You can also use this in non-reference drawings. It becomes a blueprint for the details of your drawings. Now this one isn't necessarily a tip, but something you should know is do not be afraid to try new things. Don't be too afraid to find new mediums that you enjoy. Experiment. By this, I don't mean to constantly jump around for different mediums, since it will probably just end up constricting any improvement. But when you finally have a good manage of drawing, try colored pencils or oil painting, watercolor. Because of this, I really wasn't able to improve my coloring skills. They're not that good. I'm not very proud of it, but I'm trying to improve, and that's the important part. With that all said, I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you would like me to do something like this again, please like, subscribe, and comment. That would really help me out a lot and make my day. You could just watch me finish this drawing, and thank you, bye.